What's the deal, YouTube? It's your boy, Next Gen 720. No, not really. It's me. It's your boy, Showstopper, back with another video. Yeah, I used to do that sometimes. Yeah, yeah, I could do a pretty good Showstopper at Next Gen impersonation. But this is not their show. This is our show. Xbox Nation or Xbox Verse. I usually title these everything, and we'll go over the subject. The title of this is which offers the best multi-platform game experience, and we'll hit on that a little bit tonight. There's actually a lot of stuff to talk about. Lebowski could show up. I don't know what the deal is with Dealer Gaming, man. He was ready to go, and hey, you know what's coming on right now? It's interesting. Is like I'm watching the page right now. And it's the Gears of War Ultimate Mad World launch trailer on the YouTube thing for this right now. That's awesome. So I'm gonna groove out to this song real quick while we're kind of kicking it. Oh man, this song just takes me back. I love it.
What is it? The original was who? Tears for.
Yeah, well, it was Tears for Fears, and it's still the same guy, but it's like a different version, like a solo version or something.
I think the solo version you're hearing, and don't quote me, I'm sure we'll get plenty of feedback in the comment section. I think that's REM that redid it.
You know, and I thought so too. And then I said, "Hey, that's the only REM song I like." And people were like, that's not REM, jackass." You know what I mean? It's like people are real quick to kind of correct me if something I say is wrong.
Well, I don't know. I just went and checked it out. I do think that the REM is that's who's singing the one in the Gears trailer. That's my take. I don't know if I'm wrong. Believe me, we're gonna hear about it, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, you know, but like apparently I looked it up and it's like something Jules or something from Tears for Fears. So you know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, what's funny is I tweeted out to everybody that wants to know. Mooch actually has a YouTube channel. I tweeted it out. People are like, finally.
Yeah, I just saw that.
He's got a banner. He's got. Apparently, he's never done anything on it. He's already almost got 300 subscribers. So go ahead and look up.
Well, thank you in advance, everybody. Should have a video out early next week, and then thank you to Next Gen and allowing me to host not this Sunday but next Sunday's Big Gamer Small Talk. That's a huge privilege, and I'm honored.
Yeah. Just so you guys know what's going on with Big Gamer Small Talk, and we're going to get on all these subjects and stuff, but I like to kind of shoot the breeze a bit, waiting for everybody to get on board. Big Gamer Small Talk, due to some issues with Next Gen's channel, isn't on his channel for, we don't know. I mean, he could win his appeal, and then it would be back in a couple weeks, but we held it this past Sunday on my channel. This Sunday, coming up in a couple days, will be on Showstopper's channel, and then the following Sunday will be on Mooch's channel. I think we're gonna bounce it around. That should give each of them a pretty big pop as far as the fans and stuff going and subscribing and things like that. You know, going around. So I think that's a cool way to do it, and people should definitely go subscribe to Mooch. I check it out to the feed. I just put that in the feed as well. Here in the comment feed or whatever. So you guys go ahead and subscribe to Mooch, and you guys are going to like his channel. He's got some cool ideas and things like that. And I'll be popping in from time to time and play his sidekick like he does me a lot. So it should be pretty fun. Yeah, so a little bit more onto the subjects of the day. The one thing that I want to say is this. There's always rumors. There's always different things going on like that. But one thing that's been pretty constant as far as I'm concerned, and same thing with you, Mooch, is Konami, and they're kind of way that they half-ass things. Basically, they had come out and said, listen, I don't care, me personally, I don't care about the resolution of these things, right? But when Konami comes out and says, hey, PES Soccer is going to be 1080p, Metal Gear Solid is going to be 1080p, and then right prior to release, you kind of pull the rug out from underneath people, you know what I mean? Especially this close to launch, I think that's a little bit underhanded, and they clearly are kind of half-assed. And look, PS is just a soccer game, and it's not even a good-looking soccer game. If you look at FIFA, and I'm not a soccer guy, but FIFA looks better, and it's 1080p. So it has nothing to do with the power of the system. It leads me to believe that it's just kind of lackluster developers, and you know, like Konami's going down in flames. So, I mean, I guess you can understand that a bit, but, I mean, at least don't lie to the consumers and mislead them. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, and you said it right there, and I was going to ask you. I wanted to confirm it before I actually said the wrong thing, but, like, literally, if FIFA is 1080p, I mean, first of all, who gives a shit, right? That's like if, like, Jimmy's Burgers next to you went out, but you still got McDonald's, Five Guys, or In-N-Out Burger wherever you live. Like, nobody really gives a shit. FIFA's the big 800-pound gorilla in the room. This PES game, I never even heard of it until they made a splash on their own. Everyone's using this resolution, whether it be the gaming media or whether it be these developers. The indie guys, soccer cars, they're getting big because, like I said, actually right now I'm making a small game of Pitfall where you just draw a ball into an empty hole in the ground. I can't wait to get it launched. I'm going Sony only, though. And, yeah, I've got public. I think that's why I got 400 subs coming my way already. It's amazing. You just put something on Sony, and all of a sudden it just gets clicks, it gets heat, it gets waves. And that's where we're at. Like this, when I saw that today, usually I get angry. Today I just kind of laughed. I was laughing about it because I'm like, wow, I'm laughing as I'm reading it. I'm like, wow, nobody cares about you people. That's so funny. That's really great. It was like it was like reading a small cartoon skit. Here's the thing. I've said it a number of times. We'll call it nationalism, call it what you will. These people don't care about Microsoft. I'm glad to see Microsoft kind of turns their back on them a little bit more, like they're not going to do the Tokyo Game Show. They're doing small little things like that where they'll have a mini presence here and there. It's basically Microsoft being very, very politically correct and flipping the bird back.
Yeah.
And, and they got to. They're too big to be as crude and rude as, me or Crap or possibly Food. Like, they can't do that. But, PES, I'll be honest with you, how many sales? What did they sell last year?
I don't even know what they sold. But here, Jamie Moran, I guess soccer games are big in Europe and stuff,
yes,
right? Jamie Moran being in the UK says that it's a big pile of crap, right? So I mean, you would assume I've messed around a little bit with FIFA because that's on EA Access, right? Which is a great value, by the way. I'll keep throwing that out there. And it's fun for what it is, but for me it's too low scoring and stuff like that. I'm not a soccer guy. Okay, I did like the soccer stuff when the US was beating Japan. Like me and you both, Mooch, we were doing a live podcast and we were like, hey man, those soccer girls just beat the crap out of Japan, man. It was 5-0 at one point or something, man.
Yeah,
we were
what a day that was.
Yeah, we were both we don't even like soccer, but there's something about when your home country is doing something. And this is the thing. I said this with Xbox too, right? Somebody was on Twitter, they're like, oh, well, you say you don't care about sales, but you want Xbox to win America. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's home team. You know what I mean? That's, overall, I don't really care about sales, but you do want to see your home team do well at home. And that's pride and things like that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that because as Americans, right, we're all Americans, even no matter what nationality we are. If we're born here, we're Americans. Mm-hmm. Even if you come here and go legally get your, you're an American, and you should have, a certain kind of pride and things like that. Mm-hmm. And that, have you noticed, I don't, I'm not a big Olympics person, but I keep an eye on how many gold medals and medals we win. You know what I mean? Absolutely. There's pride in that. There's home team, and people get excited for that. When there's the boxing Olympics or whatever, I'll watch those, or the hockey when America goes and and does something surprising. You know what I'm saying? And you cheer for that. You're happy. You're proud. It's pride. The same thing with Xbox. That's American. Yes, they make it other places, but it's American. They cater towards the American kind of audience, right. And I have a lot of pride for that and think that should be supported at home. I don't think that makes me xenophobic or anything like that. It's just wanting, people have turned it into that. You know what I mean? Oh man.
Well, that's it. Let me just interrupt you because that last sentence you said that's my basis. I've always been a multi-console household. This is the first time, and people say, "Can't you just enjoy everything?" I'm having a hard time enjoying it. They're making it so I can't enjoy it. Why do I want to take? I'll use everyone else's words, my hard-earned money, and give it to a company that literally. The country doesn't care. They don't care about us at all. All the developers from Japan don't seem to care. I know that the guy from Platinum Games has done a 180 since Gamescom, but that's because somebody, he was cashing a couple extra checks that week from Microsoft, and he smiled. He did a couple thumbs ups next to Phil Spencer. He went home and lit his cigar with an American flag. Listen, the problem I got with this is that it's just one thing after another, and I'll be damned. I'm not going to go out and spend money on that console and give them money. First of all, how about this? How about you earn my money? How about everybody right now that has a PlayStation 4? Okay, I don't care if you're enjoying a couple of games. What games are they actually giving us? Why do I tell people all the time, convince me, sell me. Don't just give me the I should have everything in my house routine. That's bullshit. I don't need to have 2 blenders and 2 this and 2 that. Why should I go have a PS4 right now? Now, I have a Wii U in the house. My kids love. We were talking before we went live. Food was there. We were talking with my son. Got out talking to food, talking to crap. And he's talking about all the games that he can't wait to look forward to. It's a couple of the games like Pokemon that he collects the cards. He's only 6. He's going to be getting into these games. There's a reason. There's an appeal. There's no appeal. And I'm not. And I don't want to segue because I want Crap to segue into it later. We'll talk about it. But even the remasters, they can't even do a remaster right.
Yeah. What do you got to say, Food? I hear you chomping at the bit.
Sorry, Food. Go.
No, I was just gonna say, like, we've missed a lot of opportunities business-wise, like just for being American. Like when we tried to get Xbox, try to get Resident Evil onto the Xbox. I'm not quite sure, but I think the meeting lasted less than 5 minutes because there was already like this heavy sense in the room where like the Japanese were not happy with the Americans, and then the Japanese left saying that the Americans were acting all kind of like stupid and rude and shit. And then as far as the whole console appeal, from what Mooch was saying, I was just thinking like it's what I said like a few weeks ago, where it just has to do with how these kids, they grew up with the PlayStation and now they're just now getting jobs, doing journalism. So they have a bias. Like they don't care. They can't sell you on getting the damn console because they can't say, like, let's say they go, the remote is better. That's not a pitch. That's just an opinion. Like, tell me how the remote is better. And they can't. They can't tell you why the console's better because, it's really not. So the appeal is just, I grew up with it. This is what I'm used to, and I want other people to love what I love. But the console, it is not better. And there's already a rumor that on October 27th, there's supposed to be a PS4 Slim coming out. So I'm sure even more people will buy it for no reason.
Wait, why would they release a PS4 Slim?
My theory, this is my theory. This is if the rumor is true. This is my theory. Either it's one or the two things. To cut costs so that they have an even higher.
Well, they already did that. They have a different. It's not a Slim. It's just a different model number with a couple different components that are cheaper in there to help make it slower. But it's not like actually a Slim or anything. I mean, it's honestly that thing's already kind of slim. I don't see exactly what they could do with it.
You're gonna love I say about that later tonight when I upload a video. It's hilarious because I was thinking about that all night, or all day. But it was I think it's either to cut costs or they foresee a slowdown in sales that they want to stop with the new console. And I think that they know they might have a slowdown in sales because they don't have any games to sell with their console. So
well, Sony is doing kind of a poor job at keeping. At giving us reasons or giving gamers reason, in my opinion, to keep playing their consoles. Like, I understand the mob mentality. You buy the thing, it's popular, go get it. I don't even know why I bought it. Honestly, it was just like, hey, and you know what the funny thing was? My brother bought his the same day, and we both were like, why did we get these? And we bought them at different times. We didn't know we were buying them that day. There was no kind of discussion or anything like that. Just the same day, you know what I mean? We both bought them, and I was like, okay, let's check it out, and I did. And it's like I haven't really seen anything that was like mind blowing. I think that they've done kind of a poor job, even more so than the PS3, because look, what's covering for the PS4 right now is old PC ports, remasters, and indies, and that's just the fact. If you take away those things, then the PS4 lineup of exclusives is worse than the lineup of PS3 exclusives, which was one of the worst in history, and it's regarded as such. If you look at the PS3 at launch until I think it took 2.5, 3 years before it got anything really significantly good. Yep. I was playing Battlefront 2. I was playing PS2 games because it was backwards compatible at the time. That's why they stopped the backwards compatibility on those. One, to save money, and two, because people weren't buying PS3 games. They were just playing their PS2 games on there. So it was like a way to kind of pull the rug out from consumers. That's typical Sony. But then again, they kind of get away with it. Again, like today, the Telltale Games thing. There was something that came up on the Sony YouTube channel, right, where they uploaded Xbox One footage, and you see the Xbox One prompts. Okay, everybody gives Sony a pass on that, right? Obviously, the developers were at fault here, right? Then we go back to the Witcher 3 footage, right? And that ended up being PC footage that was sent by the developer. And who took the heat for that but Microsoft?
Right.
And now Sony gets the free pass. Those are the type of things that I'm talking about when I say, you know what, there's a little bit of media bias. And you don't believe me about media bias. I even got people, long-time people that disagree with us, Mooch, on Twitter that said, you know, whenever we'd say, hey, there's some media bias, now they're starting to come around, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen it, right? And one of these people was like, yeah, Digital Foundry, right? Because check this out. How long did it take Digital Foundry to come back with their analysis on Witcher 3? It took them, what, a week? Longer?
Yeah.
And why did it take them that long? Because the Xbox One version was superior. It was superior from the launch. It had better frames per second. It had more detail. And why? Because Sony forced 1080p, which cut back on the detail, and they had a terrible frame rate on that game. Even after the patches, right? Xbox One superior, but it takes them a long time to come back from that. Same thing with this zombie game, right? This Zombie U port, okay? This game gets ported over to the Xbox One and PS4. Guess what? The PS4 version is 19 frames per second a lot.
Yeah.
The Xbox One, I mean, this game's supposed to be 30 frames per second. Xbox One is 30, sometimes dips down to 28. To be fair, the Wii U version has a higher frame rate than the PS4 version. And I'm questioning, where's that power at, Sony? You know, you guys said you got this thing that's easy to develop for, and it's so powerful, yet you can't run Zombie U past 19 frames per second.
Rumored, there's the rumor. Well, rumored. It's a speculation based upon Digital Foundry's analysis that I watched today. But basically, they're saying that if Sony is to do 1080p for the Uncharted collection, it may have to be multiple disc, because they can't see it being 1080p and having all three on there. Now, granted, it doesn't have multiplayer, which is a whole nother ball of wax.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think I want to point. This is kind of a rhetorical question to the audience and to people. What's the deal? Like, do you guys feel like when you buy a PS4, anyone who bought a PS4 in the past 3 months, do you feel like the same feeling you get after you bought the last Call of Duty? Like maybe 2-3 hours after you use it, you're like, what did I do this for? Because I don't know. Like, even the people that are on YouTube and they're like, well, you know, it's nice to have both consoles. You really should have both consoles. It's great to have them. They're talking about like indie games and soccer cars. And listen, that's great. Like, all you're doing is you're making an excuse for yourself for owning the machine. You know, and one guy wrote me today on Twitter and said, well, Mooch, you're only into AAA games. Well, I said, not necessarily. I said, I do lean that way naturally. I'm heavy favored in the AAA. That's kind of, I think, why we all get excited about next generation. I mean, heck, even on BGST, we speculate on the next machine because it's fun. I mean, the minute the iPhone 6 came out, they were talking about the 6S. The 6S isn't even out yet, and I saw something on Engadget that said, here's what we're predicting for the 7. I mean, we're always thinking what's coming next. So to say I'm not going to tell you I'm excited for a AAA game, that's bullshit. But I mean, Pure Hold'em Texas Poker's coming out today, and I got to be honest with you, I'm probably, as soon as we get done with this, I'm going to grab that. I was a huge fan of the Full House Poker on 360. I think I got like 600 achievement points, and just playing here's the thing. You come home, you're having a couple drinks, whatever, you're hanging out, you're done playing a AAA game, you log on, all of a sudden you're playing, and it's nice. You put your headset on, you're playing a couple rounds of poker with people at the table talking shit. It's kind of a great little thing. That's a little indie thing. That's not a big deal. So I'm not all that, but I'll tell you right now, you're never going to tune into my channel, or you're never going to listen to me on Twitter, and I'm not going to give you 2 months of soccer cars. I just can't fill that kind of time.
Well, you know what? Oh, hold on, Fu. Just one. I want to make one more point. Like my whole Digital Foundry speak about them being kind of biased was this: they always give a verdict between the Xbox One and PS4 version, unless the Xbox One version is better, like with Zombie, right? Then they say they're about equal, even though clearly they weren't when it came to frames per second. That's what they do. They either take a long time to come out and say which version's better, like you know, they wait a week or two. Or they say, well, it's a toss-up, or they'll even though games will run better on Xbox One, sometimes they'll still give the win to PS4 due to 1080p. You know what I mean? So, and you look at what's going on with this Uncharted collection, right? Eurogamer, seriously, like they stopped doing numbered game reviews right before Drive Club came out, or no, the Order 1886, right? Yeah, so they conveniently stopped doing that right when the Order 1886 came out. And now, when Sony's getting a lot of heat for their lackluster quote-unquote remasters, they come out with this article, oh, it's much more than a remaster. They're basically calling it a remake, but you're watching it and it looks exactly the same. You know, it looks exactly the same. It's like these games aren't that old, so basically what they're doing is just upscaling it 1080p and probably an unlocked frame rate. I doubt they're going to be 60, but I mean, and they took away the multiplayer and things like that. So I think that there's going to be a lot of people, you know, this is like damage control. This is the media that we're talking about here when we say, hey, they cover for Sony, they're media biased and things like that. This is what we're talking about, you know. There was an attack on Sony's lackluster remasters, and here goes the media trying to cover that up for them. And that's really a shame, and that's a fact that you guys can look that up yourself. I mean, you can see it every day. These kind of things come out. They're attacking, the media right now is on attack mode on Halo 5, right? Oh, no big team. But let's not mention that Warzone is taking that place right now in a much bigger way. You know what I mean? They want people to play this new mode, and you're more likely to give it a try if there's not a competing mode like big team.
Is there co-op in Uncharted, the new one coming up, not the remaster?
No, there's no.
So,
there's no
so why is no one complaining about that? There's no co-op in it.
I think because there was no. I think because there's never been co-op in that, whereas Halo has had it. But as far as I'm concerned, you got to do. There's no split screen and no online for Uncharted, but no one's complaining about it. You can't have like what happens is when you play online on old Halos, 30 frames per second was fine. You could do split screen, like you had a friend over or whatever. Like I get that, but you're at a disadvantage if you're playing split screen and you're doing 30 frames per second versus someone that's not and they're 60 frames per second. You're going to get your ass kicked. You know what I mean? And so that's the whole reason why they had to drop it. I mean, I'm sure they could have, but you're not going to get your full situation of, you know, you're going to be at a disadvantage. And I think that's the reason why they did do that. And, you know, like I said, just going back to Digital Foundry real quick, it's like, you know, they're one of the more egregious aggressors when it comes to coming out against Microsoft. And same thing with like GameSpot and, you know, of course, IGN. I mean, all these places were the ones running PES soccer, not going to be 1080p. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my gosh, give it a rest. You know, I seen that. Somebody messaged me that. I'm like, just when I thought I had all the idiots blocked, right? Someone new messaged me. You said it was going to be 1080p. I'm like, yo, you know, jerk off. You know, listen. The developer said that. I was relaying what the developer said. I love how people like associate me when I do a news piece or something and relay what somebody says. Then all of a sudden it's me saying that as fact. You know what I mean? It's like, look, if these guys come out and lie and I relay it, not knowing it's a lie, how is that my fault? You know, the guy said, hey, it's going to be 1080p. I relayed that message. Then it turns out that he's saying now it's not. So, I mean, I'm relaying that message now. Guess what, guys? It's not going to be 1080p, and he didn't actually say what it was going to be. So we don't even know. No clue. Could be 900p. Could be...
well, they said it was 1380 by 19. What is it? 1380 by 1080. I don't know, something like that. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's not. It's probably going to be 900p.
Yeah.
I mean, really, to be honest with you, this is just a marketing genius move by PES and Konami, because who gives a shit? I mean, like, literally, what are we talking about? You're talking about like this rinky-dink ice cream shop down the corner. It's, you know, that's like, we're going out of business. You're like, I'm sorry. Who cares? I didn't even know you were there. Like,
you know what's fun?
Go ahead, Food.
No, I was just gonna say, you know what's funny, that like when next generation, if Microsoft puts out another console, which I'm sure they will, and Sony looks like they might not because they have their own stupid ass Gaikai thing going on. When the Xbox is more powerful than whatever PlayStation puts out, I bet you anything Digital Foundry is just gonna be really quiet. Like that's what that's my prediction. They're gonna have these.
If you go back to last gen, right towards the end of the gen, they were giving the PS3 versions of multi-platform games the win, despite less resolution, right? So they clearly have been kind of leaning towards, you know, the PlayStation brand or whatever, and they're a European publication, and European areas usually where PlayStation has done pretty good. You know, you know, we get called xenophobes or whatever, but I think really it's these other places that refuse to give anything other than PlayStation a try are really the ones that are xenophobes. I mean, you're looking at a product that they're not doing any work for your money. You know, Sony's literally doing nothing. They're not putting out exclusives.
It's free marketing. Yeah. Like, they have other people. They have droves of people, armies on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Reddit, on any social site out there advertising for free, telling you why you should get an Xbox. I ran onto a random website. I was reading an article. I always go to the comment section, and there was this guy. He said, "How is Forza? I've never played Forza before, and I really like racing games." And the comment under that was a guy saying, "Well, Forza is more like an arcade game. It's not really realistic. You want to get Gran Turismo." And I'm just like, I can't believe that.
Yeah, say, hey, Gran Turismo is realistic if you if when you crash your car it doesn't get any damage, if you can't do any custom option. Yeah, you can't see the interior. There's no custom options. Yeah,
Gran Turismo is really arcade. Like he got it backwards. And the thing is that this is free marketing. They have people that they don't pay go out there and vouch for them, and then on top of not paying them, these people are paying Sony in return for a console. It's insane.
Well, I mean, we also covered last week, unfortunately, on BGST. You guys, many of you know this publication forum, NeoGAF, right? Turns out the head moderator there, Bish, is a person that has worked at a PR firm with Adam Boyes, who is like one of the main people at Sony, at PlayStation. Adam Boyes backed his Kickstarter. You know what I'm saying? So he paid him directly, so you wonder why there's a little bit of kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You reverse, give me the reverse gimmick, circle jerk type deal, and there's why you have it. You know what I mean? Because they're scratching each other's back, and then so what NeoGAF did right from the beginning was come out and say, and I know we're covering this again, but that's where these quote-unquote insiders came from to kind of discredit the Xbox One right from the get-go, and they were all lies. It was all lies, It was like, look, you can always use your best guess with things, right? Like, I'm really good at doing that, right? If you look back at my videos for Gamescom, predicting what's going to come there in E3, I usually hit the nail on the head pretty close, It's because you can just use your best guess and, use common sense. And sometimes these people will get something right, like Halo Wars 2. I called that I called that in my prediction thing for Gamescom, right? Why was I right? Do I know something on the inside? No. But what I do know is that they're doing Windows 10 and they're looking for games that make sense to crossplay, right? And I know that an RTS would do that. And I also know that they have 3 different developers working on RTS games for Microsoft right now. So it made sense because they're working on quote-unquote a beloved RTS franchise. Right. And there's only realistically a couple options. And I don't think, Halo Wars would sell well on a console. I don't think what's one of the other RTSs they own? Age of Empires. I don't think that would sell. Yeah, I don't think that would sell as well on a console. You know what I'm saying? But Halo Wars did, because Halo Wars did really well on 360, and I think that that will do well again. And again, crossplay. So it's easy. What you do is you just kind of guess and you use common sense, and that's something a lot of people don't have these days. That's why the PS4 has so many sales. And go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, like, with next year's game lineup for the PS4, they have Uncharted coming out, and what's their other big boy coming out next year?
They have Street Fighter V and Uncharted as the ones confirmed for next year. Supposedly, they're saying that Horizon game, but there was already a rumor that that's getting pushed into 2017. Not. And also the what's that one? The Last Guardian, where they showed that same footage this past year.
Mooch came out with his channel already. That Last Guardian is not coming out.
Oh yeah, exactly, dude. Well, no, here's the thing. If you look at his channel, Mooch's channel has been up since April, and yeah, he just got his banner and stuff up. So that means he's inching closer. You know what I mean? He's inching closer to get stuff on. He needs to get that stuff. He needs to get things going. Even if he does, I mean, he has it. So at least he can do the podcast from there. So that should be pretty big, actually. So
I was just wondering, like, if they don't have Street Fighter or Uncharted, like, what would their excuses be?
Well, it depends. Food. They don't need excuses. Think about it, Food. They've got the media. Listen, there's people that have how do I put this? There's YouTube channels. There's Xbox people. There's the gaming media. Everybody praises Sony for their marketing deals and the things they're doing for third party. That's first of all, that's never going to be. If you don't want to hear a Sony compliment that they don't deserve, you can come to my channel because that'll be Sony bullshit compliment free. But like for example, the Xbox One's going to give you the exact same games you're going to get this holiday season on PlayStation, just without the cardboard cutout at GameStop.
Yeah. Did you see there? I saw. I was watching something on YouTube, and their little sizzle reel popped up, right? And they're like, the best place to play is PlayStation. Here's why. And it's like Star Wars Battlefront. I was like, okay, got that pre-order on Xbox One. It was like Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I'm like, well, I'd still have that technically pre-ordered, even though I'm not sure I'm going to get it. And it was like the Destiny, the Taken King. And I'm like, well, I can get that on Xbox One as well. And the other thing, I forget what the hell the other thing was, but it was some other multi-platform as well.
That's another thing that pisses me off so much. Like, I keep reading about this bullshit. Like, why do people play this Destiny game? Like, I feel like every 3 to 4 months, this game relaunches. Like, it launches once. So why is everybody like, oh, there's a new DLC and a fucking console comes out for it? A whole console for a DLC. Like, is there going to be DLC coming out for Tony, or Ballad of Gay Tony, and I'm going to have a rainbow Xbox One? No, like, who the fuck does that? And then they keep making commercials about this. Next, I'll fucking find it on my French fries at McDonald's, and then they're going to be like, but only on PlayStation, and then they're going to asterisk.
They always do those with Taco Bell, dude, because when you think PlayStation, you think taking the dump with the runs, you know what I mean? So... Yeah, but the funny thing is with this whole Destiny thing, right? I feel like if that would have been if Microsoft had the deal for that game, that it probably would have got a lot more hate than it is for being kind of the ripoff that it is. Now, I'll say this: I have some followers and on Twitter and stuff, people that I'm cool with that love this game, right? That's fine. I don't care if people can play what they want. But I ask people, I'm like, please explain this game to me. Explain to me I don't understand why people are playing this game, and I'd be even willing to give this game another chance. But again, why would I have to pay $80 because to play the Taken King?
The exclusivity for Destiny and Sony's over too, crap.
Yeah, I know that.
So at this point, there's absolutely no allegiance or reason to play it on the PlayStation. And I watch his channel. I'm a huge fan of I Am Brodio. Good guy. I don't think he's had content in a while, but he's doing something else. But guy's great, and his subs actually. He said, "I'll never buy a PlayStation 4, but if my subscribers want to watch me play it and give my opinion," he gave. I'm going to say PayPal, could have been something else, and they actually did. They bought him a PlayStation 4. He said thank you a million times. He's a big Destiny fan. He bought Destiny. He played it for a week, and he goes. His next video was like, "No, I'm done. Thanks for that rock you guys just bought me. I'm not using that." He's like, the community's not the same, the feel's not the same. I think he even said he was not enjoying the controller. I'll give you guys a short story here. This is kind of interesting because it ties into what we're talking about. So I was away this past week on travel for work, and so I have a PS3. I have 2 PS3s from last gen. One I just use as a Blu-ray player. So whenever I'm on travel, I always bring a PS3 for a Blu-ray player. Because honestly, if it falls and breaks, I don't give a shit. But so I bring that with me, and I'm like, you know what I'll do? Let me go try something out. While I'm on the road, I went into a GameStop. I said, let me just see if I can grab a used game here. I walk in, and of course I'm perusing through the Xbox section first. I'm just looking around, hanging out, and the girl that works there comes over, and she's like, "What are you doing over in the green section?" She's like, "You should be over here," and she's trying to be all funny. And this really happened. I have a witness, but I can't say his name. But I have a witness. This literally happened, and I go, listen. I go, no, he can't. But he literally, the girl was like, well, no. She's like, PlayStation's much better for games, and I'm like, well, okay. I said, let's. I didn't even go into my usual spiel. I said, well, actually, you know what? I'm here for a used game for a PS3. What do you think's a good game? I said, you pick it out. She sat there forever. First of all, she didn't know what she was talking about because she was like, they're right in front of her face. She couldn't pick anything out. I'm like, is there anything like the Ratchet and Clanks? I'm like, she goes, well, Uncharted. You could play Uncharted. I'm like, thank you for that. That's like, that's like this. That's the label child for the game. Yeah, I know that's there. I'm like, what else do you got? Anything that you're such a big fan? Tell me something that's in the dust that nobody ever heard of, or something that's so good. It's those little like diamonds in the rough. She could not come up with anything. Finally, what I ended up grabbing, just for the shits of it, is I grabbed Resistance 3. The story's going somewhere. I grabbed Resistance 3, and listen, here's the thing. In all honesty, it's okay. It's nothing to talk about. It's not great. It's not awful. But my biggest complaint, and this is one of the main reasons, and you check BGST, I said this a couple episodes back, my biggest thing when I fell in love with the Xbox was the controller. I'm playing this shooter, and don't give me this shit, all you guys with the PS4s, that the controller changed that much. It got a little heavier, and they didn't really, the fact that they don't, that's how much they don't listen to the customer. Everybody has said, change the goddamn analog sticks. How many times we got to say, move the analog sticks? Microsoft spent $100 million on the study for this thing. They had consultants. They hired Major League Gaming. Everybody liked it. No, they still put the analog sticks together. I'm playing the thing, and it's like, now press L3 to sprint. I go to do that, and it's a very sloppy, because your finger rolls off the non-convoluted analog stick, and it slides off, and then you have to actually press R3 down to duck, and you're doing all this movement, and your thumbs are smashing into each other. I literally put it down. I'm like, you know what? Thank God this was a used game. It was $6 to be. What a waste of my time. And it wasn't that the game was necessarily bad, but the triggers didn't feel right, the bumper didn't feel right. Now everyone's saying, well, Mooch, that's PS3. The PS4 is a lot better. You're a liar. You're a liar. It didn't change enough. I've picked up a PS4 controller. I've played it. I've held it in the store. I've played it for about a half an hour just trying it out. The triggers that they made are not full triggers. They're still dangling little mini U's, I call them, that you barely can get your fingers on them. The analog sticks are still too close to each other, and they just made it a little heavier so it doesn't crink and creak when you go to squeeze it like the PS3s did. It's an awful controller still. People in the media said I love how they quoted it. It's a lot better than it's much better than the PS3. Well, no shit. That anything was better than the PS3. I like the Wii U gamepad better than the DualShock 3. Yeah. Everything was better. The original NES controller is better than the DualShock 3. Everything has beaten this. And the fact that they don't listen, that's the number one thing people wanted, besides possibly party chat or changing their name, which you still can't do. They don't listen to anything we want. They don't care about you. That's why when I see all this love, this unwarranted love for the system, they don't listen to you. They don't tell you. You're getting a collection where they took half the collection away in the Uncharted series. All your major games that you guys fell in love with last generation between PS2 and PS3, you've gotten none of those sequels coming at you anytime in the near future. And I find it ironic that they're going to be at the Paris Game Show. They're going to be at this Paris Game Show. What is it you're going to show us? And Food goes, the surprise might be a slim. I mean, financially, I don't think they can do that.
I think anything to save money they might do.
Well, hold on. No, I would say that,
how are they actually saving money when they have to go into production again? I mean, that's.
This will be their final long run product.
They've got. This is the thing, right? They've got I'm flabbergasted sometimes that the thing sells so well. So why would they bother? They're already putting out a different PS4 that's less expensive for them, right? And they've already got the 1 terabyte. I don't think they can do the same thing with and I'll talk about this a little bit, this Xbox Mini or whatever that's coming out. It makes no sense to announce that or release that this year because consumers are easily fooled. Yeah. That's why part of the reason the Wii U suffered. Okay, so check this out. PlayStation 4 already has a 1 terabyte version coming out. Multiple bundles coming out this year.
I got a little mini emergency. I'll be back.
You got it, bro. So Sony's got multiple bundles coming out this year. They've got a 1 terabyte SKU. They've got this other SKU. You know what I'm saying? Xbox, right? I know some people are like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Come out with a discless Xbox One, and it'll be cheap. Blah blah blah. What it would do is confuse people. It would confuse people. They would go for the cheaper thing and realize there's no disk drive, and you got to have internet and it's this and that, you know what I'm saying? It's and why would you announce that now when you've got a Forza bundle coming out, you've got a Halo bundle? It just doesn't make sense to me, So I know I do think they're working on a slim, and I think it needs one, a more compact thing, because if you think about it, the Xbox One is so big, they were overcompensating for the Red Ring of Death last generation. You know what I mean? They didn't want to have that issue again. But you know, parts are cheaper. Things run less hot now. We're a few years into the, you know, a couple years into the gen. If they introduce a Slim next year, obviously it's still going to have a disk drive, in my opinion. Maybe down the road you could do something like that, but I think it'd be far too confusing, and I think that it just wouldn't make sense at this particular juncture. You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, we spoke about it. Next Gen said it best, and I'll just agree with him. I'm currently, like, part of this construction I'm going through right now, which is why I have not gotten my channel out yet, is that I'm building this, like, I'm making a pretty decent man cave downstairs, and I've got this great entertainment center I grabbed. If you buy an actual piece of furniture that's designed for an entertainment center, it's vented, and it has these, the backs are vented, the shelves are vented, the doors actually open up, have ventilation. It's so that you can store things in there. But the point is that even though this is a showpiece, the actual Xbox that I'm going to be putting, it's got room to breathe, and it's going down into something you're not going to even really see the device. If anybody that says if you're buying a PS4 because you like the parallelogram design, well, there's something. Don't call yourself a gamer or don't even get in my ear about talking about games, because who cares? Nobody cares what the thing looks like. Microsoft compensated for the heat issue, and plus, not only that, but they give you a twofer. If they only did that, that would be one thing. The machine is silent. It is it's so silent that you could plug it in and put it right next to your pillow at night, and you would never even know the thing was on. Now, if PlayStation does decide to make a Slim, think about this, guys. That means the heat sink, okay, they can't use fans. They're going to have to use more metal, more heat sink. The thing is going to be louder and hotter than ever before if they go smaller. They didn't perfect that the first time. It's not going to be quieter.
And what bothers me is, like, how big of a hypocrite they are, because, like, when you were talking about the remotes earlier, they literally sold the same fucking remote for 3 generations in a row. The same fucking remote, right? And then now this generation, they're bitching about the Xbox being big, and then, oh, they're praying to God that these consoles would overheat, but they're not, because they compensated for that. And it's literally the quietest console, the lowest using amount of energy console, and the coolest one by far. But they like to forget about this thing here. You see this? This is a fucking piano. I know they call it piano black, but it's a fucking Yamaha piano. Like, they want to forget the bullshit. And how many excuses did they make for this? How many? Oh, it's fine, but it's better, and you get, you know.
I wish I still had mine, man. Mine broke like 3 times, man. Yellow ring and yellow light of death.
Yeah, this is broken. Yellow light of death. Broke as shit. Yep. Broke as fuck.
I paid $599 for that thing, and it broke 3 times on me. I never had, like, an issue with the Xbox 360 as far as that. Like, I had multiple ones and stuff, like, you know, like you had to clean them up, or I think I had a disk drive problem on one of them. But other than that, man, I had, like, really no problems with that. And I always had problems with the PS3, and people would, like, act like you were crazy or lying or something. Like, the PS3 had a lot of issues as well with that, but it didn't get as much hype, you know.
Out. Like, how much shit would Microsoft get if they sold you an Xbox, right? And then 4 months, 5 months, 6 months down the road, took away all these features, right? Where's all the little memory slots? I can't open this, right? Because they took all that away, right? If I want to put a PS2 game in here, I can't fucking play that shit. Why? Because they took that shit away, right?
Well, you can do that now. You can pay for it and stream it.
You got to pay for it, and you can't own it ever. Where's all the extra HDMI ports that they said that they were going to have so you can do, like, multi-TVs?
Where's my 120 frames per second on that?
Where's my 120 frames per second? Where is all the fucking bullshit that they fucking said that you will have? Bro, I was one of the idiots that fucking believed them. I was 16, 17 years old when I was listening to all this, talking to my mom, because I'm like, Ma, this thing is going to fucking, you know, it's going to...
Yeah, you were like, hey, Ma, this thing's going to F and this, and she was probably slapped you, dude.
And she just fucking nodded her head, because she knew that was bullshit. Like, it's fucking, this thing is one giant lie. Where's my fucking boomerang remote? No, they sold me an old-ass, you know, PS2 remote, took out the Rumble, and said it's next generation.
No, yeah, they said that Rumble was last gen, right. And and so you didn't need it. So they gave you this, like, light controller that was like, felt like a feather. Like, it was terrible, just awful. And the funniest thing is this, right? Like, you know how a lot of people complain about Microsoft points, right? And this is something, like, this shows you how much I buy stuff on PlayStation, right? On their store, okay? Because remember how everybody bitched about Microsoft points, right? Oh, why can't I just buy, the things for the price that it is or whatever, And I agree, that's kind of stupid. But you know what I found was kind of odd? If you want to buy something that's, say, on sale for, $2.99 on the PlayStation Store, you have to spend $5 to put it in your wallet, And nobody really complains about this. I never seen anybody complain about this. It's like you got to have a minimum amount. And a lot of times, like, if, like, you don't want, and it sounds cheap or whatever, but you buy something for, like, something's on sale. I think they had Peggle 2 or something on sale, and I was like, I like that game a lot, so worth getting on another console as well, since I already got all the achievements and stuff that I can get on the Xbox version. So, okay, and that adds up. And then maybe later on you want to do something, but you only got like $1.79 in there, so you got to put another $5 in there. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, that starts to add up. You know what I mean? It's like, and how come nobody's complaining about this? You know what I mean? Nobody's complaining about it.
Nobody's complaining about the fact that Sony's now selling these $20 themes crap.
$20 themes?
Yo, it better be in 4K, and it better be like Jessica Alba butt-ass naked, because I ain't...
$20 themes?
They have $20 themes. Shout out to the person that broke it out to me, because I don't have a PS4, is Blackie Lebowski. He did a video on it today. Like, this is you guys who all have PS4s that don't understand the frustration that I have, just hear me out for a second. Here's a company that's not taking any time to bring you any types of games, and they're selling $19.99 themes for your PS4. Like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, the consumer, are you out of your mind?
Games.
They don't have anything to give you. Crap had just told me about PS, and correct me, Crap, PS Now, they have around between 100 and 150 games available for you to purchase, right?
Yeah, PlayStation Now says it has like
purchase.
Well, no, hear me out. Right now, Microsoft's going to be offering you between 100 and 150 games this fall, backwards compatibility, and if you already own it, it's free. If you don't, you can walk into GameStop or probably buy them really cheap on the store for a couple of bucks and own it. And people are giving people still aren't praising this. I mean, I know Scene's believing, and a lot of these YouTubers are like, I actually have to feel it in my hand. I don't know what that means. You have an executive got on stage in front of millions of people and said it's coming November. Like, that's good.
Yeah.
For me, you call me a corporate slave, I'm gonna buy into that 100%.
Corporate cocksucker.
It's bullshit, but then they'll show you. Then they'll show you fucking CGI of The Last Guardian. Since I started hitting puberty, I've been hearing The Last Guardian for the longest amount of time, and all you see is fucking CG, but you don't see actual gameplay, and people cry about it.
When I first heard about The Last Guardian, I was but a mere young lad in my 20s.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'll be honest with you. Sony has given you promise after promise. Now they're giving you themes, which is more like it's another promise. It's just now this promise costs $20.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just, it amazes me the allegiance and the following and the goose stepping that I'm seeing happen here. And and I listen to this. I try to really get around. I try to. I have to bite my tongue while I sit there and I listen, but I listen to a lot of different podcasts and I listen to a lot of YouTubers.
Yeah.
And it kills me inside when they're like, well, you got to give it to Sony for this and you got to give it to Sony for that. I don't have to give Sony shit. And I don't understand why everyone else is giving them 1 red cent. They haven't given you anything that you can't get on the competing console or practically that you couldn't get on your PS3. They haven't done anything. The UI's the same. The updates are stability. You've not gotten a new feature. That share play is a joke. So there's nothing there. I mean, they've not given you really anything. Because I got to be honest with you. They're like, well, no, Mooch, that's crap. That share play is fantastic. It's sharing amongst friends, something you wish you had. No, I don't. Let me tell you something. At my age, I don't want, and me and Crap are friends. I got news for you, and I'm sure he feels the same way. How would you feel, Crap, if you went and bought 4 or 5 games? Because I know you buy your games, and then I'm like, hey, Crap, do me a favor. It's 7 o'clock. Throw your game in. I want to play it. I said, fuck yourself. How about you go buy the fucking game?
That wouldn't go over too well. I gotta be honest. Like,
really, that's
hey, but you notice how
friend,
fast that died down. Yeah. nobody, nobody's talking about that feature anymore, right? Like nobody is.
You know
And
why?
one of the
Because
main
it's
reasons nobody's talking about that is because, yeah, a lot of developers kind of don't like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and as far as this, right? Like what this whole thing is named, right? There's a lot of fallacies when it comes to performance on the Xbox One or PS4 as far as multi-platform games, right? But the thing that matters most isn't resolution. It's I would say frames per second. Like you look at a Witcher 3, I'll take 900p. And actually, it's dynamic, isn't it? So it does actually go up to 1080p sometimes.
Yes.
When it like that to me is something that's really cool. Like it backs down when it needs to, so you get a better, smoother frame rate. Because if you don't have a frame rate, you can't play, right? I'll take that any day of the week over the alternative. And you look at like this zombie game, 19 frames per second on the PS4. What is that about? You know, like the Resident Evil remake or whatever that was. Terrible frame rate on PS. You're hearing the PS4 has a bad frame rate on a lot of games, you know.
And they're all
And part of the reason
too.
is, yeah, and part of the reason is because they force that 1080p or nothing type mentality, and that is kind of unfortunate. That's bad for gamers. So you guys that have been fooled by this, every time you go 1080p beats 900p, haha, or laugh at that, you must realize what a complete douche you look like. You look like an idiot because you do not know anything about gaming. You know what I'm saying? You talk about fraud gamers. I mean, that's like the least thing. You've bought into Sony's propaganda machine 100% because you didn't care about that last gen or the gen before or the gen before. You know what I'm saying? You only care about that now because, A, you have no games. You're talking up soccer cars. I did a video about this yesterday. You guys talk 1080p and power, but then you just go on about soccer cars, which can be done on the 360.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
That's just the truth. You guys need to have like a long, cold look at yourself in the mirror when you guys talk about this stuff, you know, because honestly, some of the stuff is just kind of hilarious, you know. I mean, look, we're all here for entertainment, but damn.
What brought it to fruition for me was that study that came out by Steam when we saw that 64% of PC gamers are 720p or lower resolution. That really... Now, here we go. Again, I'm on the other side of it. Okay, I'm on the Xbox side. I'm at the 900p, the 1080p side, and we're actually getting a better resolution for the most part than most of these PC guys are saying. Not what PC guys can handle, but most of what they're playing. Master Race my ass. So I'm sorry, but if only, you know what I mean. So if 30% of them are doing better than 720p, and of course they're the vocal minority, guys. Anybody that's listening to these YouTubers that are like, I just put a 980p CTI WXYZ into my machine, and I'm playing this thing at 4K. First of all, that asshole has spent somewhere around $3,500 on his machine. We've got people bitching about a $99 upgrade on Connect. How am I supposed to sit there? Imagine if I was a PC guy and I had my channel and I'm sitting there and I'm telling everybody right now, hey, what you guys need to do is quit the bitching about the $400 consoles. You guys need to pony up and pay $3,400 for this beast I got. Look what I'm playing on, huh? Look at this beast, huh? Like, nobody gives a shit. The majority of people are not playing that. So now, coming back to what we were saying, in Food, I'll let you chime in a second. Literally what Crap was saying, we're playing games at 900p, 1080p on the Xbox One with a locked-in 30 frames per second. The Witcher 3 plays a lot better on Xbox One. All these remakes, all the Resident Evils that have come out have been better. The Assassin's Creed Unity plays much better on Xbox One. So it's not just AAAs, it's the remakes, and of course all Microsoft's games are smooth as butter. And Sony, nobody's reporting this. And when they do, like Crap said, Digital Foundries will say, well, you know, it did come in at 19 frames per second for a while, but at 1080p we have to give the nod to Sony.
Or they'll just say it's a toss-up. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Toss-up.
Like
yeah.
With,
It's right, Crap. So if Xbox wins, it's a toss-up. And if it's a locked 30 frames per second, 1080p, PS4 wins. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And this is anyone who's listening that says, geez, Mooch, you're so one-sided, try to listen to what I'm saying. I'm not sitting here just saying Xbox is the best. Xbox is the best. Xbox. If I said that, I'm just a moronic person with a one-sided mind. I'm trying to open your eyes to understand that everybody's got the bucks in their pocket to go get both consoles. We can all afford that for the most part, okay? But what you have to do is you have to sit here and say, what in the world am I getting with the PlayStation 4? Now I'm getting really bad frames per second. I'm not getting good gameplay. I'm not getting any major titles. Okay, I've got a very, very old UI that's got no signs of changing. Because believe me, look at Xbox. When you want to change your UI, you start showing it at different shows and trade shows so people can get their eyes on it and get their. There's nothing coming in the future that way. The console's bricked on 2 updates. And you've got the CEO, one of the CEOs says, I have no idea how we're doing this good. That was Yoshida, quoted. And then you have the other CEO in-house that says, games are sparse, which translated with your Ovaltine decoder is, we're fucking broke. So I don't know what you as a consumer are excited about. And if you don't understand why I take the stand, I draw the line in the sand and take a side, it's because literally you want to call it a console war, call it a console war. But if you're a consumer, what the hell are you looking at? Like, what is it that you're excited about besides the nostalgia that was 1995? Nobody has been able to sell me on that, and that's
Dude,
why it's
soccer
so
cars. What are you talking about?
I am missing out on soccer cars. As we're sitting here, my timeline on Twitter, there's this woman that just wrote something. I don't know. I don't subscribe to her. Someone retweeted her. I'm doing soccer car tournament, which is, of course, Rocket League tournament one last time before my review. You know what? Save it, lady. I don't give a shit. Like, it's an indie. It's a game that came out, and I get a lot of slack from some of the indie devs. I'm not making fun of what you do, but let me tell you something, indie dev that's listening right now. I guarantee you don't get Rocket Car or Soccer Car publication and reviews unless you're Sony only. So if you're a dev listening right now, and you're going on both platforms or just Xbox One, your Steam is going to last about 24 hours. If you go Sony exclusive, they've got nothing coming out this year. You're probably going to get some, you'll get some titles, you get some headways, you get clicks, you get reviews, you get, hotspots. I don't know what to tell you. Like the fact that Soccer Cars is still getting talked about, I'm not disputing that it's fun. I understand. Everyone's interpretation of fun is different. Some people still like hopscotch at 30. That's your personal preference. You know what I mean? Knock yourself out. That's fine, but I have a major issue with somebody telling me that I don't understand the difference between good and bad when you're playing a game that not only can be played on the 360, but that pretty much can be played on the NES or the SNES. It's got and it's a ball into a net, and you're using a Matchbox car. You can't tell me I'm missing out on something. Well, you haven't played it, Mooch. No, I have. I've been playing that game since I was 8 in 18 different variety of names. We've all been playing it. Double Dribble, NBA Jam, I don't know, anything in the world, NBA, anything soccer or hockey related, it's the same thing. It's just instead of a foot or a hand, it's a bumper. So don't tell me I'm missing out on something. I'm not. Yeah. It's them that are missing out.
Hey, let's be fair here. If Uncharted 4 had come out around the same time the Soccer Cars did, nobody would be talking Soccer Cars. Basically, what you're stuck with is them kind of damage controlling and talking about the only things that they have. And that's, I mean, look, it'd be like us. I mean, look, Scream Ride could be okay, State of Decay Definitive Edition could be okay, Ori could be okay, but it's not, we're not really throwing those in lists. You know what I mean? It's like these people are throwing these games that are terrible on these lists, and they're like not even retail releases. It's like these indie games, Soccer Cars, and the reason why is because there's nothing else to really list. And I think that that's like something that that kind of pisses them off. You know what I mean? It's like they realize this, and so they think that if they keep printing these lists, it's not a lie if you believe it. That's what they keep telling themselves. It's not a lie if you believe it. So let me list, all this stuff. What they don't understand is, and I've gone over this a million times, you buy a Nintendo console for Mario, Zelda, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart. You buy an Xbox for Halo, Gears, Forza, Fable. You buy a PlayStation for, I would assume, God of War, Gran Turismo, Uncharted, you know what I mean, SOCOM. The games that console is known for, and guess which one hasn't had any of those, and guess which one has all of them in 1 year? Microsoft and the Xbox One has their 4 biggest franchises releasing this year, and one of the biggest franchises of all time, a top 10 franchise in Tomb Raider, releasing exclusively at least for a year on Xbox One, and you better believe my channel is going to be reviewing it. I'm going to have gameplay. I'm going to be posting pictures. I'm going to be spoiling the story. I'm telling you what, man, I'll be like, man, did you see Laura, man? She killed that guy in that place on that thing and that boss. It's going to be all over. So if you're like one of them ponies that thinks you can wait a year or whatever, I would just avoid my feeds and things like that, because it's going to be Tomb Raider. It's one of my most anticipated games. I'm going to be talking about it a lot. Like I said, the last one was my game of the year in 2013. You know, there were so many good games that year, and so many poser games too. You know, like The Last of Us. That was like a game that was like a poser-ass game, man.
Yeah.
2013. Like in 2013, like the games that I really enjoyed were BioShock Infinite, the Tomb Raider reboot, even Grand Theft Auto 5. Like I liked it. I never completed it. Just because it was too open world, but there was a lot of stuff to do. I could see why so many people did like that game. And what's it like shipped now? Like 50 million or something?
Yeah, it's a beast. It is.
Yeah, it is. It's a beast.
It's a beast.
It is. It's a beast.
Literally, I mean, you kind of nailed it right there, Crap. It's just. I don't understand. Let's talk features. Look what we're getting this year. You're talking about Windows 10, and the thing is if anybody's questioning the whole thing that we were talking about with PES Soccer, I wanted to go back to this, and it not being 1080p. We have not fully implemented, and not just fully, we haven't implemented at all Windows 10 and TrueDX12. Even the SDK, I don't think is out yet for.
It's not. That's why people are like, oh,
yeah.
Soccer or Metal Gear. What happened to DX12? I'm like, yo, dumbass. DirectX 12 isn't even out yet. It's coming out this holiday for developers. Yep. That's when they can use it.
And you know, I was thinking about how you were talking about dynamic scaling. Like to me, that I think in its own sense is a feature. Like the PS4 cannot do that. You know, and therefore we could be more versatile with what games we have on our catalog. So we could actually on the Xbox offer more games, and that's why we do. I know a lot of you aren't the two of you aren't really big into indies, but I play, you know, other indies which are capable on the Xbox that they can't really do on the PS4. The PS4 has that one indie that's overheating the PS4.
Soccer cars.
Is it Rocket League?
Yes.
Oh,
but listen,
no. Hold on. It is officially Soccer Cars. Look,
it's Soccer Cars.
I'm a big Gears fan, and like we've played Gears, my team and me, we play it all the time. You know, there's the Hammer of Dawn gun in that game, right? We nicknamed it the Sun gun. We know it's the Hammer of Dawn, but we're like, hey, quick, get the Sun gun. You know, we've renamed it. It's not Rocket League. It's damn Soccer Cars. That's what it is. They were like, hey, what if we play? And they probably got that off The Simpsons, because there was an episode probably 20 years ago. The Mr. Plow episode where Homer becomes a snowplow operator or whatever. Or it might have been a different one. I think it was the one where the kids got trapped in the school when the snow was there and there was no snowplows because Mr. Burns bought them, and they were playing like soccer indoors, him and Smithers with the plows, right? So they probably saw that and thought, hey, this would make a good game. You know what I mean? And look, it doesn't, to me. Like people are always like, and one thing that annoys me lately is these quote unquote frenemy Xbox dudes that message me on Twitter pretending to be Xbox fans, and they're like, dude, but you gotta try that Soccer Cars, and I'm like, fuck Soccer Cars, man. I got a Rare Replay I'm going through right now. I got Gears and Madden, you know what I mean? And I got Forza and Halo and Tomb Raider and Battlefront. You know, I got plenty to do.
Let me add on that. I mean, this correlates with what you're saying now and what Food just finished saying, and I'll tell you that's indies. Okay, listen, I'll say it again. Bravo, and my hat goes off to the indie developers. Okay, good for you. That's a skill set that I don't have, and I think it's a fantastic skill set. But let's also understand something. And there's a lot of people that are Xbox guys that like to praise indies, and that's fine that you like that. But I always go and look at a lot of the people that I follow, and I look at on Xbox, and they play a lot of indies, and I look at them, and it says 100% complete, and it says 4 hours, and that's fine. Again, nothing wrong with that. But that's not why I'm gaming. That's filler. It's just filler, people. An indie game at this point, you bragging about an indie game to me is like you bragging about an iOS or an Android game. That's the same thing you're doing. So when you say that to me, you're like, oh, you don't know what you're missing. You really should try this, whatever it is, the Rapture game that's on PlayStation or Flower or whatever. I don't know, whatever other garbage that they have. That's fine. I'm glad you enjoy it, but that's the same thing like me saying, you guys really, really should try Flappy Bird. You're missing out. You're really missing out.
Well, I mean, I can't. I kind of disagree with that. Like, I can't. Like, the good thing about the indie is that they can just do whatever they want to do. Like,
what does that mean? What does that mean?
that means that you don't have broken ass pieces of shit like Assassin's Creed Unity, which is the same game over and over, like Call of Duty.
Assassin's Creed Unity is 115 hours to complete. The game you're talking about is 2.
But you can't complete it when the shit's fucking broken. That's the thing.
I'll tell you this much, right? Like, okay, again, I understand. There's a lot of indies, right? Like ID at Xbox came out today and said they've released now over 100, right? Yeah. And I'm glad that they don't push them like Sony does, because you wouldn't even really know that there's 100 released, right? Just you know, quietly in the background, they came out. Yay, you know what I mean? If you're interested, you can follow their YouTube, and they have the little trailer or whatever when it comes out, or follow them on Twitter, and they'll tell you when one came out. That's fine.
Well, it's
but the problem is,
crap. They know that they don't sell.
Exactly. 99% of these games are bad, and then there's like 1% that's decent. You know what I'm saying? So it's very few and far between, in my opinion. You know, it's like and not only that, but the price is a bit of a concern, right? Because look, I know Ubisoft is publishing that new Toy Soldiers game, right? And that looked fun. I grew up with He-Man and G.I. Joe, and that's in it. I thought, hey, that looks cool. But guess what, man? I'm not paying $30 for that.
No.
You know what I mean? Rare Replay with 30 games costs $30. Why would I pay?
And that's another thing. You know, I see a lot of people saying, well, Rare Replay, you know, they're old games. They're just pixelated, this and that. And I'm like, but that's the same thing you're talking about with these indie games.
Exactly.
There's a couple of them, okay, that are done beautifully well, like that. Again, I don't remember the full title of it. Welcome to Why Is Everyone Left Rapture. There's Submerged. There's these other games that have come out.
Yes, and there's $20, and it's a 2-hour game.
It's a 2-hour game. It's okay looking, but like it's
walking.
It's walking around, and don't get me wrong, that's fine. That's fine. You can enjoy that, but you can't. You at the same time, you really can't brag about it. Like, what's so exciting? Like, you're convincing me. Mooch, you're really missing out on this. We walked left. We walked right. I hung on a building. I climbed the building. I found a map, and the map told me to walk further to the right. The end. Okay, well, that's great. That's awesome. I'm really, I'm not busting balls. I'm doing it kind of a wise ass remark, but it's not. I'm not trying to be bad about it. I understand that that's something that you like. Again, like I said, my grandmother, she loves crossword puzzles. I can't take it away from her. That's her indie. She loves it. Okay, I get it. But the minute she says to me, "Hey, you should pull up a crossword puzzle book," we're done. It's over. I gotta go. You know, I don't want nothing to do with it. I just and let me tell you something. This is not just me talking. The reason Microsoft puts the ID at Xbox on the shelf for you to go browse at your will is because they're not going to push it because nobody's buying it. You know, I wish Sony likes to put their numbers out. Okay, Sony and your indies. How many people bought? We're leaving the Rapture. We're going to the Rapture. How many people bought that? How many?
They probably won't ever say. You'll
never know because it's ridiculously low. Now this is not an indie. Some Sony, you know, the people who hate Xbox will say this, but Ori and the Blind Forest, I'm not going to classify that as an indie. If you want to, by all means, go ahead.
Microsoft owns the IP and funded it, so and published it.
Yeah, I wouldn't classify it as an indie at all.
What about Super Meat Boy though? Like Super Meat Boy was
that's
published
an indie.
by Microsoft.
I mean. Well, that's still an indie. That was like, you know, one of those things. I mean, that was. But remember, Microsoft doesn't own the IP.
Well, food. You could throw out. I bet you could throw out a dozen right now, indies that were stellar. They were killer.
I think it's a generational thing because you and Crap are older than me. You know.
Well, yeah. Okay, this is the thing, right? The indies that are coming out now try to appeal. What they're doing is copying things that were done 20, 25 years ago.
Maybe that's it.
And that's cool for people like you, Food, that maybe didn't play those games because it seems new to you, like Shovel Knight. People were all over this game, but to me, that game was done 25 years ago and much better 25 years ago.
All Shovel Knight is a blended together Ghosts and Goblins and DuckTales. And I probably put, as a child, between Ghosts and Goblins and Super Ghosts and Goblins, I probably put in like 250 hours into that game. And DuckTales, I beat the original one.
I did too.
Like 4, 5, 8, 10, 100 times. So when you guys are like, oh my gosh, Shovel Knight's awesome, you know, I almost got to card you an idea because I'm like, oh, that's why. You know, like, we've done this already. And to say that I don't mind, like, that's what I like about Rare Replay. It's value. Does that mean that since I've gotten Rare Replay, I've played it for 200 hours? No. But like when I've got my buddies, like we play, Food, you're part of it. I mean, Crap, you're always invited, but you're not up as late as we are. Food, when someone's like, yo, we're gonna play a little Titanfall later on tonight, and I'm like, what time? They're like, oh, between 11 and 11:30. I'm like, all right, it's 10:45. I got a half an hour. I pop on Rare Replay, and I play Battletoads, or I'll play. Like,
can I tell you a game that I actually like on Rare Replay that's like totally crappy, like by standard? It's that damn shooter game where you're walking around like shooting things. Like I got almost. I think I got all the achievements on that. You know what I mean?
Like the Western one there.
Yeah, I think that might be like the first game on there, right? It's like cheesy, it's terrible, but for some reason I couldn't stop playing it. And I was thinking, man. This would probably go over as like a top flight indie nowadays because it looks better than Nidhogg, and you know what I mean. It's like you play some of those games, right? And they're much like RC Pro-Am. Those are like classic games, And I'll tell you this much: a game that I absolutely love on there is Grabbed by the Ghoulies. You know what I mean? That game looks beautiful. Like to me, that they went all out with that. I'm just
absolutely.
I'm just a huge fan of that. The value of it. To me is unmatched. Like the thing that I like was unlocking the history. Like you could hear the people talk about their history, the games that were canceled. That's what I liked. It's like there's so much value there. There's a lot of extras. They could have just thrown all the games on the thing and you picked it. But just the way they did it, the loading screens, the extra content, the challenge modes, the snapshot modes, all that stuff just really adds to it. The different versions. I mean, the Battletoads arcade version is there, which I love that. You know what I mean? That's awesome. I like the original one too, but just the Battletoads arcade just seems like really fun to me. And it's just a lot of fun. It's like it was unexpected. That Microsoft was able to do some games that were unexpected, like Gears Ultimate. They might not be considered like the AAA or whatever, but it's unexpected content. They're releasing retail. It's a lot of value. Like, okay, that's what Microsoft is doing. They're giving unmatched value. They're the only ones that are allowing EA access. Guess what? I'm playing Madden 16 already and getting achievements for it.
Oh, you're cheating, bro, because I haven't played it yet. And you're gonna
I've been playing it, and you know what? I gotta say, I like it. Like it's not a big visual upgrade from last year, but the whole aggressive system that they have, where you can go up for the ball if you're on offense or defense, and like it's easier to get interceptions. It's easier to go up with the receiver and catch balls. It's easier you can throw the ball high, you can throw the ball low. You know what I mean? They've done some cool things to it. So I gotta say, it's fun, and people are like misinformed that think it's just a demo. No, you carry over everything. I'm in my season right now on there. You know what I mean? I'm like 4 games in, and I've got achievements, and that all will carry over to the retail release. You know what I'm saying? So that's value, Rare Replay. Value, all this stuff.
No, PlayStation doesn't think there's value in that, though.
Oh well, PlayStation thinks that soccer cars is value at $20 or whatever
value
it is.
For a theme for $20.
Yeah, next generation, no Rumble at all.
Look for me. Look, Gears Ultimate, right? You get a totally remade game, right? You get a beta for Gears 4. You get all 4 Gears games digitally backwards compatible on Xbox One. That is value. All the DLC that was on Gears 1, all the maps already included on there for $40. That's value. You know what I mean? Putting out a game that has online and then putting it out with the online still, that's value. Slapping together 3 games and then cutting out the online, that's not value. You know what I mean? That to me is just a cash grab, and they're doing that because Uncharted 4 was delayed. Real quick though, I want to talk about something because some interesting Nintendo news came up today, and I know we don't usually talk about Nintendo, but Nintendo actually, there was some patents that were filed. One of the patents is for a new console from Nintendo with no optical drive.
Yeah, I saw that.
No optical drive? Could it be another... It can't be a Wii U. It can't be a Wii U. It has to be like a new 3DS.
Well, we know a new console's coming out.
I know that, but like the NX cannot be all digital unless they're going cartridge or memory.
Well, no, here not cartridge, but you could use like SD and things like that actually load up fast, and you could actually store a lot of stuff rather cheaply on there. If
they start using SD, like the standardized SD, then that could be a smart move because it won't be it won't be proprietary, and Nintendo likes proprietary stuff to avoid piracy. and
Yeah.
people will just start having pirated games.
Listen, they don't need to people like we're already to cast this off. I saw, but to me, this mean they've never done a DVD player or a Blu-ray player. They're not going to. So what's it matter? What you know what I'm saying? They're probably going to be able to fit a lot of information on the whatever they're using. I think that this is actually a good sign, and it's interesting. I mean, it piques my interest. Also, the other patent for an achievement system, which is something that I've been bitching about. Nintendo needs an achievement
cool.
system.
But
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say what I think the achievement system might be part of their new service, because they're trying to make like this whole new service that's like for the sake of this discussion, let's call it Nintendo World. They're
redoing it.
They want it to be the center of all of it. They're gonna have the Nintendo NX, the new 3DS. They're going to have the DNA, for mobile gamings and stuff for their tablets and computers and stuff, right? And then there's going to be a service like an Xbox Live or PSN, and I think that's what they're going to include as achievements, because their achievements is going to be on the phones, on the 3DS, on the Wii U, on the NX. They're going to redo the entire Nintendo network for a third time, because they already had a Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. And then they did Nintendo Network like they have now, and now they're going to be doing this new thing, and I think that's what that is.
It could be. I mean, I'm interested. I want it to be a dedicated console. As long as it's that, then I'll be, I'll be cool.
Is.
Yeah, I don't want them to. Yeah, I don't want them to do like this gimmicky kind of crap that some people are assuming that they're going to do. I think that it's, I think
what they're going to do, I think, is that they're going to fill in the gap. Like, I don't think it's going to be gimmicky. I think they're finally going to do something practical. And what they're doing is a console. Like, they're going to have a console in your house that when you're done playing, you could like pick up a piece of it that kind of like detaches from it, and you can play mobile. Like, that's what the photos that I've been seeing, like in the patent stuff and like sketches and whatever that they have for the basics to give to like FCC. I don't think it went to the FCC, but I saw like sketches and shit, and I feel like that's what they might be doing, like, because they're not gonna make a phone. They're not gonna do full-blown Mario. They said
they've already said they're doing four phone games by 2007. That's it. And they're not going to be porting over their old games, but yeah, because that would cut into their handheld, which they're doing fine with their handheld, because you're not going to be able to do phone games the quality that they do on their 3DS or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's just how it's going to be.
Yep.
Real quick though, just like talking to both of you guys, just as gamers, to you, like when you think of a multi-platform game being best, like to me, like people are like Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Let's say that they do dynamic resolution on the Xbox One version again. It's 1080p, 60 frames per second, and it's the same on PS4. To me, then it all comes down to controller, which obviously the Xbox controller is best for shooters and online stability, right? And again, Xbox Live. To me, those are the things that make a version better. Even if at 900p, that a version of an online game is still going to be better on Xbox due to the service and the controller and the community. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if you've ever played multiplayer games on PlayStation and Xbox, you know what I'm talking about. The community's watered down like no other on PlayStation. Terrible gamers. I don't mean to generalize all, because I'm sure there's some decent ones, but for the most part, whenever I'd play a Call of Duty game on Xbox and on PlayStation, I'd run a 1 to 2 higher KD on the PlayStation version. You know what I mean? Because Xbox gamers go hard, man. They just do. And that's that's just how it is. I think that it's interesting. So what do you guys consider like when if you were judging, like, say, a game that was 900p? I mean, people would maybe think it was cut and dry. Okay, this version is 900p on Xbox, the other's 1080p on PS4, and it's an online game. So which one do you think would be the better version? I don't think it's as cut and dry as people think.
Well, I mean, I think you kind of Crap, you kind of nailed it. I'm just going to pick two of those, and one is controller, because again, ask anybody who's a race car driver. The steering wheel and his racing gloves, it's the feel, it's the human interaction is with the controller. The controller is just more comfortable. Okay, there's a lot of people who say, well, I like the Xbox controller because I have bigger hands. Like, that's fine, but I think just in general, I don't care what kind of size your hands are. Like, literally, the controller feels better. The placement of the analog sticks is done properly. There's been way too many human factor studies done to prove this. I don't have to go into that. Where the analog sticks are located on the PlayStation, it's not a natural feeling. There's a few things, like in sports. Okay, being a pitcher for a Major League Baseball team or a pitcher in general, that's not a normal contortion for your body. A golfer's swing is not a normal contortion for your body. That's why you see people that hit like Tiger Woods' age, and that's why they say, well, it's really hard to win after a certain age, even though 30-something sounds young. If you've been doing it since you were, in his case, 5, but even a regular person from like 16 to like 30-something, your knee and your lower back just can't take that kind of twist after a while. Same thing happens when you're playing. And I find it funny because something else came out this week, and that was the Major League Gaming people have now converted over to the PlayStation because of the contracts and the marketing deal with the PS4. And it was funny to see, and here's the ironic part. Other shows were talking about how genius it was and how great it was. And it's a good move for Sony, but here's the thing that you have to pick up. There's a lot of Major League gamers, and only a handful tweeted out, "Thank you," or "I can't wait to start to do this on Sony." And the reason I only saw a handful of them doing it, and there's not a plethora, there's a lot of people in those tournaments and championships.
Yeah.
And there's only a handful that, you know why? They're not excited. They're not happy. Listen, I got news for you. Again, even if Sony rang my doorbell and was like, here's a PS4, enjoy it, I'd be like, thanks. And then I would be like, what the hell do I do with this thing? Like, they're getting these things, and they're like, wow, I have to completely teach myself all over again. Like, take anybody, somebody who does, like, skeet shooting or something like that, anything at all. If I moved your eyesight and I moved the trigger on your gun, or if you take like I said, something with the steering wheel paddles on a race car driver, and you move the shifters closer to each other, it's going to affect their timing. These people have to get used to everything all over again because of a marketing deal. That's not sitting well with a lot of people. You just don't hear the bad press because Activision's not allowing it to come out. They probably were like, who wants to say something nice? And like 8 people raise their hand, like, okay, you guys start tweeting, and you come over here. We're going to put you on camera and be like, you can't wait, okay? All the rest of you moaning and groaning, sorry, go over there. It's like it's just not something natural. The other thing you said is the community. I love competition. The reason I don't like PC gaming, again, I'll use my same analogy. Everybody who's listening right now, go to your computer if you're already on it. Click an icon, or click a dot, or click a link. Tell me if you missed it. You probably didn't miss the link or the box or the red X in the corner of the window that you're using right now, because it's almost impossible to do unless you're missing 4 fingers. So, like, you can't miss that. So the competition is huge on console, and the competition is bigger on the Xbox community. And I like that. Listen, I got news for you. This year I'm not buying Call of Duty, but in past years, once January came, I was done with Call of Duty. So November, the end of November, December, and parts of January, I would play, and then I was done with it. So then every year when I would go get Call of Duty again, I had to almost retrain myself in the method of Call of Duty because I just haven't played that particular shooter in a while. So when I'm playing on the Xbox community and I would lose, and my KD dropped a bit, I was pissed. I just keep playing it so I can get my kill death ratio up. And the competition is fierce on Xbox. There's shit talking. I gain a lot of friends on it. It's amazing. And again, so you've got better online, better controller, better community. So 900p when you're going at 60 frames per second and jumping down a cliff and turning around, or in last year's case, double jumping backwards over your enemy. I'm sorry, the 180p you're talking about, you didn't see it, and neither did I. So that's what determines my type of first-person shooter game.
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead.
And you can't even, like, the people, what pisses me off about the whole dynamic scaling is that people try to say, 900p, that they could tell the difference between 900p and 1080p, because you can't.
Well, we know that can't, because they couldn't tell the difference with Killzone Shadowfall. So.
Or Shadow of Mordor either.
Yeah, Shadow of Mordor. Yeah, like without Digital Foundry, these people, and again, you need these sites like Digital Foundry to tell you what it's running at, or else you wouldn't be able to tell.
Right.
And that's just that's just the truth. And I think that kind of offends people. You know what I mean? Like, or it upsets people that that's the truth. Oh, you're crazy. tinfoil hats and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And I think it's a situation.
And IGN tried to say, wasn't it that Battlefield looked better because it was in 1080p?
No, it was Call of Duty Ghosts, right? And they're like, look how much better that looks on PS4 at 1080p. But the thing was they didn't have the patch yet, so they were both 720p. So it was just really
exactly. So
just
they're
them
hot
kind of
garbage.
just them
You
kind of
can't
being
tell.
interested. Are you guys interested in original Xbox backwards compatibility? Because that might be a thing.
Absolutely, because I mean, let's get it out there in the open. Everybody goes, "Oh, that's why it'll be called Xbox One. Like it'll have all of them." Yes, that's cool, but like I also think how awesome would that be? Two things. How awesome would that be if you go to the store, like, and then you got like games for Xbox One, games for 360, games for original Xbox, and then you can go in there and check out all these titles you missed. I have someone on my YouTube channel that comments. He's like 12 or 13, and he even says, that would be great. I wasn't around for the original Xbox, and I'm like, man, that's true. This kid wasn't even alive. Like he was barely alive when the 360 was around, And how amazing would that be if I could just take my Morrowind disc and throw it into my Xbox One and start playing Morrowind? That's great.
There's some interesting patents out there, and one of them is the ability to use achievements on older games, and I would hope that if they do add backwards compatibility with the original Xbox, that they actually allow some kind of achievement system for those games, because I would love to go back and play through KOTOR or Jade Empire or Crimson Skies, and like they toss you a 500 for beating it or something. You know what I mean?
My take on the whole thing, Crap, I got to get this out there because I read about it and I was excited. See, I'm excited for 360 backwards compatibility, and then I'll apply it to the OG Xbox. I'm excited because it gives two things: choice and value to the consumer. Okay. Now, myself personally, I have nowhere near what you have, Crap, but I have a lot of 360 games, disc-based, and that's great for me. That's great for me because now I actually went and bought at Christmas. I'm going to keep it anyways. I bought it because I thought it was a good deal. I bought the 500 gig 360, the rare blue edition that came out. I liked it. I thought it looked cool. I'm going to keep it for nostalgia. Plus, my other 360, I have two other the 360s are getting older, so I have one now that's brand new in case you ever want to pull it out. Not that you need it, but nonetheless. But to be honest with you, to see the OG Xbox thing, the news come out, that to me again was I thought it was great for value and great for consumer choice. But for me, it meant very, very little. I'm finding it that, and I think a lot of people in the audience are going to hear this crap because your audience is a little bit older. A lot of them are parents, people that have been gaming for a long time. It's just really hard to come home. Crap, you know this because you know my schedule more than the audience does. The audience will get to know it, but it's hard when you get home when you got time to even be able to sit down, relax, and get into a good game. And the games that I choose 9 out of 10 times, I'll leave that one slot for an older game or a nostalgia game. Is I want to play something that's relevant. I'd like to play something that's at least newer technology. To say that I want to come home and play something that was really, really great around 2002, maybe I do for a day. Again, there's my choice. But I can't say that that would be something. There's a lot of other things on the Xbox list that Phil Spencer has that we've all been asking for that I would have preferred over that. But I mean, if he's got a backwards compatibility team, and it sounds like it would be a very easy, once they've conquered the 360, the OG Xbox being the 86 architecture back in the day is going to be even easier. This was actually the huge hurdle, and that was why Phil Spencer said, look, I'm all about it. Just let me just take care of this 360 thing real quick, and then I'll get back to that. So I think it's great, and I think Food's right. That's great. I'm glad to hear that someone like Food and a bunch of people at his age group are excited about that. But again, myself personally, not that excited about that. I just can't see. I would be lying to people if I said that was something that I truly couldn't wait to come to the Xbox. And I know a lot of people.
Hey, I mean, look, you're just keeping it real. I mean, look, it's an option though. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And why not? Give me all the options. My Xbox One could turn into a toaster oven too. That's great. You know, it can warm up food, it can heat up whatever they want to throw at me. That's fine. I'll take it. It doesn't mean I'm going to use it. And I hope others use it, and I hope it's a great marketing thing. I just think that personally, we're all moving in one direction, and that's to the right. We're moving to the right. We're going forward. We're all looking at new technology. We talk about new technology all the day. So if you have a lot of OG Xbox games, this is awesome. That's really good. I happen to have 0 OG Xbox.
I have like 100, so.
Yeah, no, that's awesome crap. No, I don't blame you. If I was you, I would be excited. 360, I'm very excited because I have probably about 100 360. That I have, that I'm into. I traded a lot in back early on, and then I started keeping them. But I still have over 100 NES games. I've got got to be 150 SNES games. I've got 60, 65 Genesis games, and it goes on and on. I kept all those. I have them. You can hook them up, play them, enjoy them. But realistically, do I come home, play them, enjoy them? No, I don't.
I hear you, because you know what? Look, like originally, things were a little bit slow for all the consoles for a little bit of time. So I did go back and play some 360 here and there, but. Now it's like I've got so much to play that who knows, I probably wouldn't go. I mean, there's games that I say, hey, I'd like to play. I've never even played. I own Diablo 3, never played it.
Oh, really?
I hear it's good.
I'm into that. I've played through on 4 characters now. Things great.
There's and that happens a lot. I have a big backlog. I know people were laughing. Oh man, for whatever. But yeah, there's a ton of games that I haven't even. Gotten a chance to play through yet.
It's tough to get to them.
It is difficult, and then what happens is you start playing it, and then you play something else, and then you go back to it, and you forget how to play. It's like just a big kind of hassle and pain in the ass. You know what I mean? So would it be something I use a lot? No. Maybe I'd want to play through KOTOR again and get some achievements if they had it that way. But I would much rather see that would be the generation of games I'd rather them remake. With achievements instead of the last gen games. You know what I mean?
That's what I was thinking too. Like, I would absolutely kill for like a remake of, Baldur's Gate or of Morrowind. Like those are the games that I think they really should remake or even remaster. Like that would be amazing, either or. And the good thing is about it being on Xbox is if it were a remaster, they'll probably sell it to you for $20 and not $60 like they do on the PlayStation. And if it were a remake, they'd probably sell it to you for $40 and not $60 like they do on the PlayStation. So we would definitely win.
We're pretty much at about an hour and a half. I pretty much covered the most of the things that I wanted to cover. I don't want to keep anybody too late because I know you like to spend time with your old lady or whatever and game later or whatever, Mooch.
Here's my girl.
But yeah, just to remind everybody, this Sunday, and I know Showstopper. I see him in the comment section, so I know he's watching. If I would have seen him earlier, I would have invited him in. But I would have. But I didn't see him. I didn't see him till just a few minutes ago. But anyway, just so you guys know, go subscribe to Showstopper's channel because that's where Big Gamer Small Talk is going to be this Sunday. Go sub to Mooch's channel. I've linked it a couple times. I think I'll probably link it again. He's subbing it in a week. After. I mean, he's going to be doing the BGST a week from this Sunday, so it'll be kind of rotating. So you guys are gonna have to sub and check out Showstopper and Mooch's channel. I would love for you guys to all sub. I think. Hold on, let me check Mooch's channel right now. Let's see what he's got on there.
My prediction is tomorrow Mooch will have more subscribers than me.
How many subscribers do you have?
I have 521.
Okay, Mooch is at 290. He was at 238 when this started.
Oh
and
my
now
God.
he's at 290. So people will you guys got to subscribe to Mooch and and then and support us, everybody, like Blackie, even though he couldn't join us tonight, is busy. I keep trying to get Dealer Gaming in here. I'm not sure what the deal is. It could it could be my NAT setting. I don't know. Like I'm gonna have to take a look at it and see what's going on with the network and stuff. I don't know, but it could just be a network issue, could be a router issue on my part or something along those lines. But I'll see about getting both those guys back in next week because I like having their take on things as well, and it's always interesting to hear everybody kind of have their own kind of take on what's going on, a little bit different take than BGST, and I appreciate and I appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. We had like about 230 people at the High Point tonight, and it's pretty cool, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's good. Thank you guys for spending your Friday night with us.
Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, man. And we'll
Hello?
Did we lose Crap?
Yeah, I think we're losing him. You're botting out, Crap.
Oh, I'm botting.
Botton.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, no, you're
Yeah,
good. You're good.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my god.
And stuff. Oh,
Crap.
Why don't you take the wheel, Jesus? Or
Sorry.
Oh.
Crap.
yeah.
We can hear you kind of, so just go ahead, do your sign off. We'll do a sign
Text
off
us.
and let everybody know that definitely Showstoppers channel will be having hosting the BGST, and yeah, see everybody then.
It too, man. I don't know what the hell, man.
What the hell's happening? I'm just gonna sit here and smile. That's really awkward. Oh, you're still alive, huh?
Yeah, Crap's still alive.
Yeah, we are, because I can't get the button.
Whoa,
It's like locked on.
Story tonight, everybody. We are going to be webcamming all night long.
Well, here's the thing.
Someone get me some food. I'm going to be here for a while.
All right, man. You can head over my place. I have too much of it. Oh, but
terrible.